Welcome to You, Me, Empathy, a safe place for leading with your heart. Hey, thanks for being here. You, Me, Empathy is the official podcast of the Feely Human Collective, a collaborative mental health community designed to empower each of us to grow our capacity for empathy, vulnerability, and emotional wayfinding. Just a friendly reminder that this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. No one is just a silly boy with a feely heart. You can support the show by leaving a review in Apple Podcasts, following us on social media at Yumi Empathy and Feely Human, and joining the Feely Human Collective community at feelyhuman.co. And now your host, Known Wells.
Hello, Feely Humans. Welcome to another episode of your favorite mental health podcast, You, Me, Empathy. My name is Known Wells. I am the creator and host. I am the founder of the Feely Human Collective, and I'm here today on episode 173 with my guest, actor, writer, filmmaker, producer, and light child, Marianna Palka. Marianna and I talk about why pain needs to be shared. We explore optimism and the magical alchemy of empathy and healing in movies. The Empowered Collective. We talk about Marianna meeting the King of Scotland himself, Sean Connery. We talk about Scottish independence and literature. Why Marianna likes to run up hills and pretend she's in the movie The Last of the Mohicans. Her working on the life-changing Netflix show Glow. We talk about crystals, protecting our inner children, good dads, smashing the patriarchy, and, as Marianna so eloquently and beautifully says, it's beautiful to have an open heart. Indeed. Indeed, Marianna, indeed. I loved this chat. It filled my heart. I feel so grateful to Marianna already. She is someone I've never met in person, but that time is coming soon. We're going to go for a hike, and I'm excited. But I hope you enjoy this episode. I know you will. But go and watch Marianna's wonderful films as well. I recently watched The Lion's Mouth Opens, which is a short doc she made about her experience with Huntington's disease. And Egg is a movie I watched recently. It has Christina Hendricks and a few other folks you'll probably recognize. It's also wonderful. Good Dick, and watch Marianna's work on Glow and so much other stuff. Just give her a Google search and give her a follow on Instagram and Twitter. The links for those are in the show notes. Before we get to the episode, a couple of things I wanted to remind you. Just this Wednesday, there's a couple spots left if you'd like to join. I'm leading an Illustrating Empathy workshop for Feely Human. It's Wednesday at 2 p.m., I believe. If you go to illustratingempathy.com, you can read more about that and register. I'd love to see you there. In addition to that, next month, on April 23rd, not next month, that's this month, you dork. April 23rd, later this month, April 23rd at 11 a.m., I think. The link is in the show notes, but April 23rd, I am doing a live version of You, Me, Empathy, which is very exciting. A live recording with a very special guest, Jess Springle. Jess is an eating disorder therapist, so we're going to explore where we're at in our eating disorder recovery, as well as talk about like what going back to quote unquote normal is. So look forward to that. It's free to be a part of that live recording. You can Venmo if you want as a donation, but it's free. So check that out. Link is in the show notes. And speaking of support, please subscribe, rate, and review to this podcast. It truly does help out the show. And I'm also on Patreon, patreon.com/feelyhuman. Bonus episodes every month and Zoom chats for the $10 and up supporters. Later this month, we're going to be talking about similar to what we're talking about in the live episode of You, Me, Empathy. We're talking about like what going back to quote unquote normal is, and how that has changed us, and maybe why things should not be the same. We're going to dig deep into that over on Patreon at patreon.com/feelyhuman. And finally, make sure to subscribe to the Feely Human newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter, a dispatch, I call it. I send out every month. I do a lot of writing in it, a lot of feely feels. And that's on the homepage of Feely Human at feelyhuman.co. That's where these show notes are, at feelyhuman.co, and where you can connect with me and take workshops and write in the journal and support me by buying stuff from the shop and all that loveliness. Okay, let's get to the episode with the wonderful light child that is Marianna Palka. Episode 173 on why pain needs to be shared. Enjoy. Welcome to You, Me, Empathy, the official podcast of the Feely Human Collective. On this show, we explore the struggles, the triumphs, the brights and the darks we face as humans trying to get by on this wondrous and overwhelming pale blue dot. The intent of You, Me, Empathy is to talk openly, without judgment, about our mental health, our neuroses, our shared anxieties and worries, to create a dialogue that is vulnerable and deeply human and empathetic, and to share that dialogue with others to inspire emotional and cognitive collaboration and insight so we can, hand in hand, break down the stigma that make us feel shame and guilt for struggling, for feeling our feelings, for being feely humans. You, Me, Empathy is a safe, friendly space designed to inspire the beauty in each of us. Today, I'm glowing with ebullience to be here with actor, producer, director, and advocate, Marianna Palka. Hello, Marianna.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here. I feel so honored to be in this moment.
Well, right back at you, Marianna. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm a big fan, and I feel good to be here with you.
I'm a fan of yours. I'm the fan in the situation. I'm the running your fan club, which is actively.
Yeah, I think you're the only one in it. Maybe you and your mother.
It's just me and my mom, but my mom is a big deal. So
I know she is. Yes. Well, yeah. Let's get into it. How are you feeling? We always start the show with an emotional check-in. How are things going?
I'm always an optimist. I'm forever optimistic about everything, and so therefore. I'm still optimistic. I had a very beautiful day today. I have always a really beautiful day. And I think that being able to do this with you is so wonderful because I have not yet had an interview that is going to feel like this. I know how good this is going to feel. And so that's why I wanted to do it, because I knew it was going to be a little bit of a transcendental kind of situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what? You know what it's about for me, and I feel the same way every time I talk with people.
Yeah.
When we meet people where they are, and we see them and accept them and love them just as they are, it's like the best.
It's so nice, yeah. Well, because people have done that for us, and so we can go on and do that for others, and it really makes the world a better place, and it does heal. So that's what you're really doing, is you're healing, and that's such a major thing to do with your time.
I love your smile. You have a great smile.
It's very big. It's like taking up the whole screen. It's oversized. Come on. Yeah. It's like it's all my face. It's my face.
It's perfect size for your face. It's perfect.
It's like, there's a lot of it. That's like me doing a small smile. That's me keeping it in.
Don't keep it in. Don't censor yourself.
It's so much joy. I can't even explain it in words, but I'll try.
Please. So tell me about your optimism. Like, where do you think that comes from?
well, talking about the great mother in general, I think that maternal nurturing is incredibly positive. I think that if you get held by a baby, or if you hold a baby, you kind of link into that. It's sort of the same thing that happens when you hold animals. Like they kind of lean into you, and that feeling of being serene with another being has a lot to do with why everything's always going to be okay, I think, even though the other side of that is us going into panic, or us feeling like everything is fear-based, or like we have to kind of work in some sort of idea of the patriarchy. Like I never had that concept. Like my mom was always so ever present in my life and so all loving and very, very spiritual that I felt like I could do anything. And truly, like my whole mom's side, like her end of the family, is so much like that. Like they all kind of look like Sophia Loren, and they just have this like endless soulful beauty that goes on forever. And also like my grandmother was incredibly magical, and she came from a village that had her as this little light child. Like they called her the healer as a kid. My grandmother had that, with me too. She said that I was a healer. And so I think that when I approach stories and stuff, I'm not just like acting in a movie or directing a movie. Like I'm really being a healer, trying to funnel something. And like you with these interviews, like I'm trying to do the alchemy of life, which is if something is dark, then we take it through the darkness and bring it into the light and share it with others so we can help other people through a narrative like that. So that's why there's reasons to be joyful, because that's part of it.
Yeah. I love that. It's very empowering. It reminds us that we each have the capacity to do that, right? No matter where we come from, I think. Do you feel like a pressure, like you have some responsibility on your shoulders?
Do you know what it feels like? It feels so powerful. Even when I was 17 or whatever, like before I had really done much in film, like I had just done plays in New York or whatever, and just acted in plays, but I felt very empowered. So it feels very powerful, but in a way that has to do with community, and not like you're the captain of the ship, but that you're sort of in a group of people that is working well together. So it feels very safe. So I think that that's how I really feel. I think I never really was scared of it. I think that I used to think that it was finite. Like when I was a teenager, I was like, what if this goes away? Like I asked one of my teachers, I was like, what happens if I cannot? Because I was really into crying. Like I could cry. I mean, I could cry in every scene. Well, I could cry in life, but also I could bring that to any scene ever. And I could cry in any way. Like I could shoot a tear out of this eye, that eye, like for the camera, or like in the theater, I could just do it for any role. And I thought to myself, what if it's not there one day? Like, what if I get dry? Or what if I'm doing some movie in the future and I can't? What if it's gone? And I said that to my teacher, and my teacher said, Marianna, it's always there. And I was like, yeah, but I'm actually asking you the question of like, what if it's not though? Like, what's the secret of being an adult actor? Like that I don't know right now as a teenager. She was like, no, Marianna, it's always there. It's always there. Like she just kept saying it's always there until I stopped being so cerebral about it and understood what she was talking about, which is basically that you can trust yourself, which goes into trauma and stuff like that. Like you can really trust yourself and be okay at all times, even in the middle of a storm in your life, or when the world is falling apart seemingly, or when you're in a nightmare. You can kind of know that there's a light at the end of that tunnel. You know what I mean? There's a candle in the darkness. That's really the definition of that. It's like ourselves. Yeah.
I love that. This week I watched your short doc, The Lion's Mouth Opens.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you did homework for me?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God, I'm so honored.
Speaking of, it's wonderful. It's wonderful and so moving. And I watched that in particular. My partner and I also watched Egg.
I love it. What a combo! Like what a good combo.
But going back to your doc, I speaking about your mother and the strength that you talk about her with is very palpable. And when you watch it on screen, it's clear to me that you had this foundation. And on top of that, you know, having to go through that with your father.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What a force of strength you had to be. How does that feel? Like what's going on with that now?
My dad was such an ever-present, wonderful father. Like he was really like the hype person in the family. He thought that we were all really awesome, and he kept saying it over and over again. Like he wasn't like, you're the nicest family for no reason. Like I think he was saying it because he knew that Huntington's disease ran in his family, and he used it to kind of spirit him ahead in his life. And so he was just the best dad of all time, and he was always there for us and looked us in the eye and stuff. And he kept saying stuff about eye contact to me. Like he kept saying that you have to be with the people who look at you in the eye and that commit with their eyes, and stay with those friends or those people who are nice to you. Like stay with those people. Don't go with anyone who's kind of looking around, you know, or thinking about themselves too much.
I like that.
But my mom and dad were so in love with each other, and they're like endless kind of romance that like continues on into this day of kind of like surpassing his death and heaven and all sorts of stuff. I feel his presence so much. Like when Glow came out, I think that's like the week that he died or whatever, and all the Glow girls came over to my house, and I was making them pancakes, and I was so just, you know, when you're grieving, you're just like in a kind of weird state. And they were so nice to me. They're just ride or die for me. And I love them like for that reason. But making that documentary was really great because it felt like we were doing something and facing something that other generations with Huntington's disease have not faced. Like they just kind of, as human beings, we just kind of spent a lot of time ignoring it or being scared of it. And my thing was like, why don't we look into it and talk about it the way that my mom talks to me about it? I'll just talk to the world the way my mom talks to me. And that helped an infinite number of people. And we raised millions of dollars. We got like shortlisted for an Oscar for that movie. Lucy Walker, who made it, is basically a genius. Like she's kind of a savant. I mean, she's so cool. She's done a lot of really good movies, but she was so brave and she was so nice to me. And I just felt like we were making something that was sort of like surpassing the medium. Like it's more than a documentary. It's like, it's like really a love letter to my parents for their love. And also to my dad for being such a good dad. And to my friends as well, like my buddies in that film, like Bryce Howard is so strong and brave in that movie. She's just like, she's a force. She's like this mermaid angel. So yeah, it was really next level.
Well, I bring it up and I agree. It is next level. I bring it up because, you know, I think you're spot on in regards to what we keep silent and what we hide and what we're afraid to talk about, right? And we see this in our lives. We see this in our relationships, and we certainly see it in the Hollywood machine, right? There's a lot of stuff we're not talking about. And so, you know, I wanted to make you know, and the listeners aware of the fact that like that documentary and the way that you showed your heart and your vulnerability is a huge, courageous act that you should be proud of.
Thanks. I'm proud of it. I feel like it was a nice time to do it because it was at the time when it was kind of a hopeless situation and there was no cure. And we raised all this money so that now the future generations of people who have Huntington's disease in their family won't ever have to deal with it, which is kind of around the time that I met Azalea. Like when I started my crystal healing with her, I was meditating a lot about never ever having Huntington's disease like in my body and it being like my job to spearhead it, but not ever be like affected by it, you know? And I just believed it, you know what I mean? Like I felt fine. And so I kept like filling myself with light whenever I was meditating and stuff. And then I was also being able to kind of put it out in the world in a way that on a daily basis, I felt like I was taking other people's pain and other people's karma around disease and America and like healthcare and all these things. And I was processing them and putting them out and turning them into like golden white light. and it just helped. And then like a few months later, they were like, hey, we've found a cure for the generations that are not, you know, who aren't already dying of it, basically. And I was like, can we take a moment? Because that is insane. Like to dodge that bullet and just be like, okay, that was a bullet that just passed and it like nicked my face a little bit, but I guess guess I'm okay. And I'm not like on the ground, you know, destroyed by it. It definitely made me a better person to go through that whole experience, you know.
Wow. I wasn't aware of the research and the testing that had been done since that time.
It's nice because they cured it in all animals, and also they're very close. They've been very close for many years. And the speed that they're going with it is unbelievable. There's a guy in Oxford called Dr. Ed Wild, who he's so incredible. And I met him through making the documentary and it getting nominated for, or shortlisted for the Oscar and nominated for an Emmy. Like I remember being on that whole journey, and I met again, because I had met Quincy Jones before, but I met him again because he was doing this other movie that he had a documentary called Keep On Keeping On that's so incredible. And I remember sitting with Quincy and he was like, Marianna, I love you. I was like, I love you too. And I said, I have to ask you, Quincy, like, tell me your advice. Like, I need to know what you think I should do with my career. Like, give me advice. What did you do in yours? And like, tell me how to be as an artist, you know? And he was like, just play to your crowd, you know? Like he said that he had spent a long time as a composer and a conductor. He spent a long time like trying to think about what the KKK might think of his work or how to make a song for them so they'd stop being racist or whatever. And he was like, forget that, man. Like, just play to your crowd that already loves you. Like, don't waste time on like the toxicity. And I was like, oh, like that changed everything for me. Like it like rewrote my cells. And I felt so connected to what my purpose was on this earth as a filmmaker. And I was just like, okay, that's cool. Don't worry about the KKK. Got it. Like, it's not about being like, should I talk to them? Should I phone them? Like, are they going to watch my movies? Like, it's not about them.
Yeah. Are you by nature a people pleaser?
I am not. I'm a bit of a rebel by nature, to be honest.
Okay.
No,
right.
You know me now.
Tell me more. Because I'm a people pleaser. Like I'm taking on all of it, right? And I'm feeling too much, and I have to create boundaries. You know.
Yes. Well, you're an empath. That's why it's called, you meet empathy. That's why this is the name of it, because that's what you are. You're an empath, so you feel everything and you have the compassion. So I have that empathy, but then I just use it as fuel and don't worry about what others think about what's happening, because I can tell like other people have fear, but I tend to turn the volume down on. If someone else is having a panic attack, I kind of turn the volume down on it. Or if someone's like attacking something, or if there's a voice in my head that's a little, negative, I just turn the volume down on it, and I like turn the volume up on the voices that say like, I'm okay, I can do this. I'm allowed to do this. Like, I'm allowed to be a studio movie director. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to like work with the community that I actually want to work with, which is the anti-racist community and like the pro-women community that we're in right now.
Yeah. That
is so accomplished and wonderful. I like that,
It feels good to know your people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a safe feeling where you can just be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think there's something profound about an artist or anyone who has anything to say being heard, like being given the space to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I think is a fascinating place to be, because in Scotland, they do spend money on street art. Like they pay people the government pays people to do street art. Like cultural minister of Scotland has a job, and it's like pay the people who make the art. And so those street artists, the work that they've made is impeccable. It's glorious. It looks so good. There's a lady breastfeeding. There's a homeless guy holding a bird. Like there's all these images that are so profoundly gorgeous. In Scotland, you walk around where we also have Nelson Mandela Square, because back in the day when Madiba was still in prison, it was kind of like before he was in the international press, and Scotland changed the name of the main square in Scotland from like the name of a king who was English to Nelson Mandela Square. And that's actually where like the apartheid government had their address. Like they had to change their address to Nelson Mandela Square, which is also like this brilliant Scottish thing of like, screw you guys. Like, you know, we're anti-racist from the beginning, so forget it. But I love that idea of being able to make art that is allowed, and not only allowed, but revered. And what does that look like? You know, if it's, instead of it being like, man, we're all like repressed, or it's like women suddenly coming out of the woodwork. It's like the women have been out for a really long time. They were never in the woodwork. Like this is what it's been for generations of vibrant women making stuff. So yeah. I think that's more interesting to me, definitely. And it's also wilder. Like that just feels like more of a wild card. Like the work is more interesting then. Yeah. If that's our perspective on it.
Do you feel like you've been able to create and do the stuff that you've wanted to do in Hollywood?
Yes. And I know that's like atrocious to a lot of people, because most people are like, no, you know, and I honor that. But I also, from the beginning, when I made my first movie, A Good Dick was about a woman who's been sexually abused, because I read a statistic that 1 in 3 American children, women, are sexually abused, so girls, before their 16th birthday or something like that. And I was like, whoa, man, that's too many. And I felt like I had to write a script about that. So I wrote Good Dick, and it's about intimacy, and it's like a love story. And it's set in West LA in this little video store. Like it's such an homage to Los Angeles. And the dudes I put in it are all these like feminist dudes that I just knew at the time. I was like, you guys have to act in this. I directed it. My producers are Cora Olsen and Jen Dubin. Like they're lesbians who were married at the time. And I was like, this is so, so cool. And we were fighting for like their right to stay married. So all this stuff was happening, and it was wonderful. And Charles Durning was in it. And then it out of nowhere went to Sundance. And then we all kind of got shot out of a cannon. And I think everyone's been getting employed since Good Dick. And also Sean Connery gave me an award for that movie. And
wait, you met Sean Connery?
Legit,
Sean Connery?
I met the King of Scotland.
Oh my goodness.
He like touched my shoulders and was like, he was saying reasons why he liked the film. And I was just like, oh, Sean, like he was so bright. Like he's such a bright soul. I was like, oh my God, you're blinding me. Like the light of Sean Connery. Cause he cared so much about young Scottish talent. Like all he wanted to do with his life was share that, you know, with people. So he gave all of his like Diamonds Are Forever fee to Scottish youth so they could get an education. And
oh, wow.
It was like £1 million or something at the time. And that was a lot of money, you know?
Yeah. He's
just always been like that. And he's always been really into Scottish independence, which I've always been into too. So he knew that about me, and we were kind of like, this is cool. It was more than just like meeting him.
Yeah. How, like you said, he knew that about you. How did he know that about you?
Well, Scottish independence, freedom lovers just know each other from afar. Like most of the artists in Scotland have always wanted to be independent. They don't see Scotland as a part of the UK even. Like if you hang out in Glasgow, which Glasgow always votes majority yes for independence, and Scotland has even voted majority yes for independence before in various other referendums, and it's always been kind of like taken away. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we voted majority yes for independence in like 1977 or something. And I just grew up in a world where people were talking about the idea of having a free country and just not being part of something that you never agreed to. Mm. And that kind of idea of kind of like political abuses or being under the thumb of another nation is fascinating. You know, like all my English friends know about Scottish independence and they want Scotland to be independent. Like most of the ones that I'm really close with know all the details of Scottish independence, and it's nice. And so, yeah, I mean, if you throw a stone in Glasgow, it's like a majority yes. And especially with my niece's generation, like my niece Tara, she's still a teenager, but like that generation, they're like 80% vote yes for Scottish independence. So it's coming for sure. It's just like a matter of when. And so that's the thing that's interesting about it, is the party that you really want to be at. Like, you and your partner need to come to Scotland.
I've been to Scotland.
When it's independent, like when Scotland goes west, that's the party to come to.
Yeah.
But where in Scotland have you visited? That's so cool.
I've been to Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Nice.
So when I was in college, I studied abroad in Swansea, Wales.
Nice. It's so
that's
beautiful.
when I went up. But I took a class on 20th century Scottish literature.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And I read James Kelman,
amazing.
Alistair Gray, and Janice Galloway.
Yeah, I love Janice. Like, what a
The
joy.
Trick is to Keep Breathing is like one of those books that will just live with me in my heart forever. Because it, like, at the time I was very sick. I was battling anorexia and like suicide stuff, and that book I very much related to deeply.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful book. What an ethos too. The Scottish people have always had this collaboration with each other that's made them better artists, because they're able to do stuff on the street that just feels really different than any other nation to me. They're just always helping each other. And it's such an egoless environment. It's all about that community-based activism and stuff that just is amazing. And I remember reading like Alistair Gray's book, Janine 1983, and just going, this is erotica, like Alistair. Like, he was like, I didn't know that it was so kinky. And I was like, oh my God.
He's bizarre.
His stuff is amazing. Yeah, and they made beautiful murals of his artwork and stuff, are in like Hillhead Underground and stuff. There's a mural that says folk of all kinds, because it means we're all different kinds of people, but we're all the same community.
I love that. Like that like when the way you talk about, the Scottish rebellion and the Scottish heart and that collective community, like that's what I want. But here in the States, there is such this divisive scarcity mindset, like fierce individualism that, like, I think has a value, but like it's also like ignoring of like the beauty and joy and perspective and healing we gain from community.
Exactly, because it can cut off before it's even started a creative idea.
Yeah.
And it's truly hard to go for it unless you know that you're not going to be in danger like that. Like I think I have a lot of friends who have been making a lot of art for a really long time, and you want to be able to have parents who think you're brilliant at that. And if you don't, then you find friends who think you're brilliant at it, because or at least you can do it, or at least you're allowed to do it, whether or not it's good is like another thing, but it's just nice to know that everybody's in the same boat with that stuff. Because I think that you can get a little bit scared in America, because there are a lot of voices that want to freak you out, And
how do you mean?
Oh, because I just think the idea that there's this sort of like toxic, constant kind of like drone of a little like white noise about like everything's to be scared, like everything's here to freak you out, or everything's not going to be all right. You know what I mean? Like if you turn on the news, it doesn't look like we're all okay.
Right.
And so when I look around and I see my community, I get that we're all doing everything we possibly can. And we know that racism is an emergency, but we're still working so hard to make sure that everyone's dialogue. Or, when Standing Rock was happening, I remember that there was a woman who gave birth to a baby on the front line of the Standing Rock protests. And I remember her face, and I remember the baby's face, and she had this little cozy blanket. And I was just like, that baby and her having that baby is the antidote to all of Fox News. Like I remember saying at the time, like I was like, it's just the fact that she did that makes me so happy. And she called the baby Water for Life, or Water is Life. Like the translation of the baby's name was Water is Life. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where so many brave things are happening that and there's so many community connections that it is wonderful to understand that in a way this country has sometimes a bit of a famine, like you were talking about, like your own anorexia, like when you had anorexia, like that idea that you're like pushing away the, like whenever I talk to people who have eating disorders, they're always talking to me about how they're pushing away the nutrition, like it's something that they're actively doing, but it's like a mechanism. It's a kind of a reaction to the fear voices that are existing in the society, and so it's a natural thing to do that. You know what I mean? If that's what you're listening to. And so it's so fascinating to me when I think about the fact that you can have a cultural famine in a nation that really needs art more than anything else. Like America needs art. That's why I'm here. Like I don't live in Glasgow all the time because I go back and forth all the time, and I do work in Scotland, but like I'm here because I'm needed here more. You know what I mean? And I get that completely. I know that my presence here, it helps my friends. You know, the perspective I have as like a European woman, it helps everybody. It gives everybody a little bit more space.
That's such a beautiful perspective. And I'd imagine your close friends feel that grace and that warmth and that heart of yours.
Yeah, I think that they do. I think it's a very nurturing thing to be a friend. And I think that in the last period of time, without being able to touch people and without being able to have that like third party contact, you know, I love being able to just interact with strangers and stuff. And when I don't have that, it made, like last year, it made me feel like, am I going to go crazy if I don't have that? Like, how long can we actually live without it? And technically you can't really, you know, you can't live without hugs. Like it's not possible. So, they're trying.
I feel you. I'm a big
like,
touch guy myself. I need hugs.
Yeah.
I love hugs. They're the best. I've been missing them hard.
I'm so tactile. Like I was like, I have to hug old ladies. Like they don't even know me. Like they need to know that I want to hug them anyway. Like, but I can't because I don't want to like put their lives in danger.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I should be friends.
We are already friends. That's why I wanted to do this.
Yes.
I was like,
I don't live far from LA.
I know.
I just live in Orange County. Yeah.
I know. It's so close.
We should go for a hike sometime.
Yeah, I love hiking. And I also have been going uphill a lot because
nice.
I love, you know, in cinema when there's just real ladies, like when they show women and they're real, like in my first film and in all my other movies, like I don't have like a push-up bra and I don't have makeup in movies. Like I want to be like a real person and bring authenticity to stuff. So most of the people in the world are not thinking about how they look. And also you have to think when you make a movie, especially in a play, maybe you have to be kind of like time sensitive or think about historically what was happening at the time. So I love this movie that Michael Mann made called Last of the Mohicans. Have you seen it?
I have. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Okay. So I know all his daughters and they are so incredible. Like each one of them is such an incredible angel of this earth. Like they just are doing such incredible work. But also when I watched that movie, I feel so good because he had 4 daughters. His wife is called Summer in real life. Like Michael Mann was able to make that film surrounded by at least 5 women who love him. And also like, he just had the ladies who are acting in that movie just have regular hair because he has 4 daughters. You know what I mean? So my interpretation when I'm watching that film, I can see his own feminism and his own, like, you know, why would these ladies from the 1700s, why would we put these actresses in a lot of makeup and give them blow dries when there wasn't electricity back then?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like this happens a lot with like American films where it's like, but why does she have like these curls that you can only get, or a blow dryer, like the flat iron thing? I'm like, hello guys, like that didn't exist. So sometimes it's better to just be historically accurate and also honor the women and honor their diversity. And you know what? Like hair is kind of beautiful if it's not so perfected. And so I've been running uphill kind of in honor of that movie because every day I run uphill and think about Last of the Mohicans when they're just like running to save the girls. Like that is the level of when I'm exercising, I need like steaks. Do you know what I mean? I need to be like, not steaks like eating meat, but like, steaks, like
You're just chopping on steaks while you run.
Give me a ribeye. No.
I love it.
Like a tofu steak. I mean like, high stakes.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Have a reason to run. So I'm always like, save the girl. Like, that's my thing. Like, you have to save the women. Like, so I've been thinking about that a lot because my hikes have not stopped being amazing. Like I go out in the sun, it's me and my Spotify, and I go crazy. You know what I mean? Like I like that a lot.
Do you, speaking of like wanting to make characters or portray characters that are real and authentic and vulnerable and real to the time and stuff, have you been met with a lot of resistance with that?
Funnily enough, no. Like what's amazing about my first film is it really set the bar for the fact that I was going to be doing stuff that was helping society, and it wasn't about, just, trying to make something for like the veneer of a movie, but actually like the soul of a movie. And how I think, touch wood, each of my movies, when you watch them, they change, they can change your life. Like Bitch was this movie I made with Jamie King that Elijah Wood produced. And we had such an incredible time making that movie. And it was very feminist. And it's not a joke. Like it's a thriller and it's scary. And I just did this action movie Romance with Alex Pettifer that we shot in Alabama. That was so rad. That Shakira Barrera, who's on Glow with me, is so good. And I had such a great time working with them. It was fantastic. So I like, always having many ladies in something, or all of my crew are usually women. Most of my heads of department are women. And I've always had 30 to 60 to 100% non-white people when I'm working on something, because that's just my world. That's how I've always experienced my community. And so it's kind of clear to people if they look at my body of work, like what my politics is, which is why I won. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm making, like if I make a rom-com, it's always like it's a political rom-com though. Like you know what I mean? We're activists.
Story. I mean, perspective is political, right?
It is, and you have to have a perspective. Like if you're a filmmaker, you have to have a perspective. I don't like it when a director's like, I don't care about what my movie's saying, or I don't think about it. It's like, oh, that's all I think about. Like I'm always considering that. So.
So you having just seen Egg and having thoughts about it, like what in your mind, what is the intent with that story?
Okay. Egg is like the only movie that I made other than my besties movie. I made this movie that Amberly Coulson wrote called Always Worthy. That's a comedy. It's so incredible. Amberly is from the OC too. She's my bestie and I love her. And that was the first time I'd done anything that was in my script that I had directed. And so I was like, I can do this. That's great. And so then I did it with a stranger, basically. The lady who wrote Egg had that experience. It was very like close to her heart. You can tell from the writing that it is her ethos in life about what it means to be a woman in America, It's all of those things. And at the same time, it's very deep. I mean, Christina Hendricks' character is so put together in that movie. And I feel like we all know ladies like that. And then there's also Alicia Rayner's character, who's more of a free spirit. And we all know ladies like that. And the fact that they're best friends and that they met at art school, to me was really compelling when I read it. I think when I read that script on page 4, I called my manager, Arian Brown, and I was like, Arian, I want to do this movie. Just tell them yes. Like, it's not a question. Like, just tell them yes before someone else gets it. Because also Michelle Gainless, who had worked on The Daily Show, like she was the head of Comedy Central. She was such a great producer, and she started to do movies. And the first movie she did was this one. It was so cool. She's such a good producer. So we had a lot of really great people working on it. And we wanted to do something like, I remember talking to my DP at the time, wanted to do like a one take when they're in the art gallery. I wanted to have the two ladies talk for like 13 pages and it's just them one take, like the Copacabana shot or whatever.
That was my favorite
But
scene in the movie, by the way.
Isn't it so intense? That art gallery is so intense.
It's very intense, but it's you know what I liked about that scene, and then with the two of them together, like I immediately I thought like, oh, I know the pressure you feel when you have company, right? Like the pressure to like maybe put on a face, right?
Yes.
And then when they're together, they're able to like allow themselves to be, and it's beautiful. It's
really about female friendship and the way we champion each other as women and how we get stuff done, and we manifest for each other, you know, like we manifest babies and careers for each other and stuff, you know. I think that's quite glorious about female friendship. You noticing that makes me so happy, because I was like, the chips are down, like there's no guys around anymore, like we just go for it. And the girls were like, okay, like I remember taking note of how gorgeous the production design was in that movie, because Sally Levi, who's my production designer, went to another place. Like the way I talked to her is only in colors. And it was crazy. My mom was just calling me. My production designer I talk to her in colors and feeling and stuff. Like I'll say stuff about like meditation I had or something, and she's like, yeah. And she's like writing it all down and like absorbs it like a genius. I love her because everything is about her textures and all these wonderful things. So the art that was created in Egg, all of that art is by female artists.
Nice.
Because Sally, I think, had that idea, and I was like, oh, Sally, like you're outdoing yourself, man. Like genius. Like that is insane. It's so cool. So there were all these like little anytime with guys who were acting who were so incredible. Like the male actors had to look around and see these like breasts or like a clitoris or whatever, just like all this art that was so female around them. It was a lot of imbued meaning and stuff, which is what we go for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am someone who, you know, I would say that like growing up with a father who I didn't like and who was kind of violent and scary, I tended toward female friendships. And I'm still like that to this day. And I have like a chip on my shoulder about men in general. Like they have to like prove something to me, you know, a little bit. And I feel like maybe that's unfair sometimes, but I wonder if you can relate to that.
I can. Everyone can relate to that. I think other men can relate to that too. There's so many men who have had to deal with the patriarchy in a way that is so disgusting and unfair, especially in their childhoods. It's not allowed and shouldn't be, but it is, you know, and I get so mad because I want to protect little kids from that. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's, and you know, it's something that as an adult, you can connect with your inner child, and all of that stuff is, you know, you can process it, but it doesn't mean that you should have had to. You know, that's the thing. I get very protective. Like I did a test, and on this test, I scored 100%. Like I don't have any aggression. I scored like 0% aggression, but 100% protective instincts. And I was like, yes, I have that. Like, I'm just like, I will protect your inner child. Like, let's do this. Cause I care a lot about children and their rights, and the role of a father is really valid and important, and really good dads are really amazing, and we should have more of them. So I think that's why we have to have these conversations and keep the dialogue open, because there's somebody out there who's listening to this who's still hitting their kid, like a dad who's still being a bully or being cruel or mean. If it's not like if they're not like hitting the child, they're hitting the child with words, and that is as bad. And so my thing is, stop doing that. If you're doing that, Erin, you're listening to us, because it's not helping anyone, and it doesn't even help the person who's doing it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not even a release. So I think that it's illegal for a reason, and I get upset about it. And I also think that the beauty of the nature of parenting has its place in the society, and it can be something that can get better with every generation, and that's kind of what we're trying to go for. It makes me think about this movie we did, Ned's, that Peter Mullen directed. You'd love that movie. Oh my God, you should watch Ned's.
It's on my list.
NEDS. It's about a little kid in Scotland who is really smart and clever, and then he gets into gang culture, and it's kind of about like if his dreams can come true or not, and the sort of cycle of violence in Scotland in gang culture. And it's quite a special film. You might relate to it, and it might make you cry, and it's okay if it does.
Of course it's okay.
It makes me cry. It makes me cry talking about it right now.
You know, I thank you for that, and I will definitely watch Ned's. I think about like going back to, you know, your first film and your documentary and short doc, and like putting, because I think about like the boys and the young boys and the men and children and stuff, and you know, first of all, I think societally we need to give more credit to children. I think they're capable of so much more than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
But the other piece of it is obviously the patriarchy and all that bullshit. But there's a lack of vulnerability, and there's a lack of willingness to be seen as sensitive and weak and struggling and stuff. Like there is such this drive to be strong, right? For men and women. And I think it's so damaging.
Oh, it's so damaging. I agree with you. And I think that the whole point of why we get out of bed in the morning in a way is to share pain, but, you know, not hold on to it. Not think it's our job to deal with it ourselves. You know, that thing that like we're not supposed, that thing that you think you shouldn't tell anyone about, you know, what happens to you as a child or what just happened to you recently. You know, there are things that we say, oh, I shouldn't tell anyone that because whatever that thing is, that's exactly the thing you should talk about because that's the one that you're holding close. You know, that's the one that you're scared to share. And that's happened to me so much where I have gone, if I tell this person about my real pain, if I really share this bit, are they going to stick around? And they do stick around. That's why.
If they're your people, they will. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And pain was made to share. It wasn't made to like be carried by ourselves.
Can you share an experience you've had with sharing pain with a friend or a partner or something?
Yeah, for sure. I think that all this stuff about trying to figure out hereditary diseases is a little bit of a tricky dance when you're wondering, you know, who you are as a person, what you're supposed to be in the world and stuff like that. You know, because it's also really interesting when I was doing Glow, when you're wrestling and we were doing all of our own stunts on Glow.
Amazing. Wrestling
on that show felt like being a superhero to such an extent. Having been through so much in my own life, I felt like, oh, wrestling's like you almost die every day in the ring. I'm into it. Like I could do it. I was like, yeah, I'm fine with it. Like I've got experience with that, you know, like everybody has in different ways. But with my thing, it was a little bit like having a near-death experience or something where it felt kind of like I had touched heaven or the sky or something and come back, even though I was still on the planet the whole time. And I think it makes you a good wrestler. So what happened is I had this really interesting thing occur where I felt like I could tell the Glow girls anything and they could tell me anything. So we shared pain in this way that was on another level than I have with any other group of women, as a kind of survival tactic in bonding us, because we had to get that close if we were going to risk each other's lives. It's sort of like being in the Marines or something like that. So you think that is scary to do, or you think a little bit like, oh, should I be doing this? But it is actually like the only way you can survive in the ring. So you have to be authentic like that.
Plus it's connecting. You guys are connecting as humans. Like that's what sharing does, right? That's what being vulnerable does. It allows other people in to connect and relate, you know, in ways that that they need to, right?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
remember having these visuals of, because it really feels like flying as well. So if you've ever had a lucid dream or like a really good meditation, you're just like, wow, like meditating is so awesome. And also it's very important and valid to remember that it's not just about like being up in the sky, but it's actually about bringing all that stuff and interpreting it today in this world and on this land. You know what I mean? Like it's really practical. You have to be practical about it. You can't just like be that thing that happens sometimes to when I am at least in a really, really good mood. Like sometimes I'm a little bit too high and I have to come down to earth, and wrestling like just is that, like you're flying and you're in the ground, and then you're flying and you're in the ground, and you're constantly like propelling from one place to another, and you're doing it with so many other people at the same time. And so you have this feeling of being invincible, which I think is also a wonderful thing to feel as a human being, because we spend so much of our time just being like, oh my God, this is the pain I'm feeling right now. But that's also part of the emotional reality of the ring. That's how you get in there, is you share that feeling with others.
It's like the push and pull of simultaneously in one moment, I could be this resilient strength, this superpower, the superhero, and then the other moment I can be fallible, I can be in pain. It's all of it, right?
Yeah, completely. And my thing was always that I was already empowered. Like I was like, I don't need glow. I'm already like a feminist. Like I'm already a feminist filmmaker. I go to Sundance with my movies. Like I'm fine. But actually I did need glow. Of course, everyone needs glow. Like it's like we all need that. And also all the dudes need to see that, and like young kids need to see it and stuff. So it was so refreshing to get to do something so bold and with so many women from all walks of life. And it was really intersectionally feminist in this way that we cared about when we were doing it. And I think the world received it like that, which was great too. So
it's a wonderful show. And I grieve its end.
I know, we're like such goths going to like the Glow funeral right now.
Was that hard, it ending that way?
Yes, because the nature of the show is us being these all-powerful gods. Like we're just, you know what I mean? Like we're queens on that show. We're all our own versions of deities. And so we don't feel insouciant about the show leaving. It was meaningful to each of us in our own ways. So I was grieving my version of the show and every other girl's version of the show, and what I knew it meant to them and what I knew we were going to do with the future of season 4 that lives in our dreams, but not in the reality of, the internet.
Yeah.
But I guess, one, like, which one is more real? Like, do you think that your dreams are more real, or do you think that life is more real? I never know.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know if I think about it too much, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether I'm in a dream or not in a dream, I want to live fully and lead with my heart and make an impact and not be a dick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not being a dick is so key.
It is key. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's like the calculus of it. Because a lot of people don't know what we're talking about great people being together. Because that collaboration, that's what Sean Connery would always talk about. He talked about being a very vast person and how he liked my movie because he felt like the characters were strong and vulnerable, both things at once, not just strong or vulnerable, that the man and the woman were each of those things. And so that's what we want to see. We want to see people who have that dynamicism. We want to see characters like that. It makes us feel like we can be ourselves as humans because we are vast and we include multitudes,
We contain multitudes. That's it. That's everything. You're right. There's so much binary that says we can only be the one thing and we cancel out the other, which is bullshit.
Yeah. And I think I was always like very gentle and sweet And when I got in the ring, like Chavo Guerrero was like, I can't even feel you hugging me. Like, I don't even know you're here. Like, figure that out. What's that about? And I was like, well, I mean, I'm just being nice. Like, I had this, like, I don't know if it was because I was extra tall or what it was, but I was just like, I don't want to kill anyone. Like, I'm not trying to like hurt a person in here. And he was like, right, but there's a thing of being like too soft, and like being present enough to actually do a move with aggression. If you have to, is kind of part of being a spiritual person. I feel like he was trying to teach me that lesson as a wrestler. And that it was okay to be big or powerful. Because I think I was always like, I'm powerful in my life, but like not in my body or something in this ring. And he was like, yeah, it has to be in your body. You know, you have to like command the space that you take up a little bit. And so that was huge for me. I think that was part of what the Glow Girls were like, whoa, like she's really made a change with that. Because, you know, they felt like they were like wrestling a feather or something when they would wrestle me in the beginning.
What a beautiful lesson that is, because it's as you know very well, you know, so much of our culture, and especially in Hollywood, says women need to be small, they need to be subservient, they need to be not big, they need to be, you know, quiet or whatever. And what an opportunity to say, like, I'm going to be big and use my body and be a force to reckon with, just as I am.
Absolutely. I think that's true. We're all big in different ways, and it's really important to take up that space and that we're strong. You know, that's why I love Bryce had read a script, like Bryce Howard read a script that was really it was about a male character. And so she just made the lead a female character. And then all the people that that female character was saving was dudes. So she was like, oh, I'll save the dude. Instead of saving the girl, it's like, save the dude. And it was just a really incredible switch that I remember at the time going, man, that is so profound. And I love that we can do that. I love that we're that powerful and we're allowed to be that powerful. It's a glorious time to be making stuff and to be making podcasts and doing interviews as well. Because isn't this the real deal? This is like the real deal. I knew this was going to be the real deal. Like, I know you were going to ask me like the real stuff.
This is what it's about. These are the conversations I want to have day in and day out all the time.
It helps. I tell you what, it helped me to listen to everything you've done before. Because I was just like, oh my God, he's such a good person. Like, you're so ethical. And it's a combination that's unique, because most people, they're spiritual, but they don't have like the ethical qualities, you know? And so they're kind of like all over the place, which is fine. But like, I like it if you have the ability to implement that and do something with it and help others, which is what you're doing. So
you're very kind. Thank you. I do this because I didn't have it growing up, and I want to give that to others. Like I think you can relate to that, right? Like, we create because we want to make the world a better place, right? That's the end game. I want to make the world more vulnerable and in touch with their emotions. And you want to empower women and allow people to be in their bodies and, you know, feel strong because they are, you know, all these things are important.
Yeah. And I think telling the children that they're better than us and they're doing better than us and they're going to do better than us, whoever is the child in your life, whether it's, you know, your birth child or someone that you're
just random kids on the street,
randomly helping out. In the future, when we can hug them again, like, actually, it's a good thing to tell them that they're going to be better than us at all of it, everything. Yeah. That's part of the point of humanity is like, the kids know more than we do.
Yep.
They're ahead of us. Like, people think that they're behind us, but they're ahead of us.
Oh yeah. I mean, just look at someone like Greta Thunberg, right? Remarkable human being. Feels so inspired.
Yeah.
Earlier today, Marianna, I did a little empathy workshop for a local art college here. And at the end, I was just telling everyone, because they're all like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
At the end, I was like, you are being witness to like, and having conversations around stuff that matter. And when I was 19, 20 years old, I was getting into fights and I was a fuck up, and the world is going to be better because you're in it, you know? So makes me hopeful.
Yeah, it does. And having that history of being able to kind of be scrappy, you know, that's a good thing in being able to be a little bit more chill now. Like, it's the reason you're so chill now is because you got all that stuff out. It's like the reason why actors and people who are on the stage and can scream on the stage don't tend to scream in their personal life. Like, I'm very chilled out in my, like, I don't ever have an argument in my in my real life. I don't have an argument. Like, the only time I have an argument is if it's like in a script that I'm doing because it's a play or something. But I don't have that like feistiness in real life because I've already gone out on the stage.
But I think it requires us to know ourselves and to love ourselves, which is hard work.
Yeah, and to like let it go, to like let the spiciness go. Be like, that's for that chapter, you know?
Yeah. I've actually been thinking about this recently. You know, growing up and having that chip on my shoulder and having the anger and guarding my heart. Like for a time, I looked back and had like sadness for that person. But now I've come to a place where I can recognize that it served me for a time and I'm honoring it and say that it's no longer serving me. I can move on, which feels good.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
There's so many natural highs, I tell you what, that I just like replace it. So
I hear that.
That's the nice part about getting a little bit older.
Yeah. I think you and I are about the same age. You're 39?
Yeah, 1981, baby. You, me, and Beyonce. And Bryce Howard, she's turning 40. And Josh Gad, like all these people who I went to art camp with are all turning 40. And I'm like, wait, if they're turning 40, I'm turning 40. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's happening.
Yeah, I'll be 40 in July.
Yeah, and then Beyonce and I turned 40 in September. Same week.
You and the Queen.
Yeah, I mean, I serve her. Like, I'm her page boy. Like, I'm not confused about it. I'm like, she's a queen, but also I love that we have the same week birthday. I'm like, of course we do. Of course we do.
Of course you do. Yeah, the stars are aligned. Yeah.
But that's so nice because I think the process of getting older, the triggers are just like lesser. There's stuff that happens where, you know, we're not like reaching for those things that were addictions that we used to go to or whatever those are, regardless of like what's in the center of the addiction. I think that the reaching is kind of gone. And so that's a glorious place to be. Yeah.
What, did you have past addiction issues?
No, I guess most of the time I like hung out with people who did. I didn't really do anything. I was always very zen and like I cared about my body a lot. Like I cared about how my body felt. So I never really drank alcohol. I was a bad Polish person because they drink, and really a bad Scottish person because they drink too. I never really drank alcohol and, you know, never really enjoyed it. So it was a little bit strange.
Good for you.
And from the beginning was like, this makes me tired or it makes me fall asleep. That's the other thing. Like caffeine or sugar or alcohol would just make me fall asleep. It made me like, instead of being like, oh my God, like that person's a crazy drunk. It's like, no, I just pass out. Like instead of partying, I just go to sleep. And so my thing was always, I would be up late and I can stay up until like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. and have a good time. If that's what's happening, like if we're playing dice or cards or something, like I love that feeling of partying or celebrating, but I'm just not like inebriated or something. Like I don't need the buzz. Like I am the buzz or whatever. Like life is the buzz. And, you know, just looking at the flowers here in Los Angeles is enough of a buzz for me that I'm like, oh my God, they're like the gardens in my neighborhood are really doing it for me in a way that no sugar or alcohol ever could. So
I love that. That's really inspiring. As someone who's recently sober myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a relief. It's like a relief not to have to like go there, you know?
I know. Yeah. It's such a nice place here. It's like being like, do you want to be cozy with this blanket or do you want to like lay out on the street and get sunburned. You're like, I want to be cozy inside the blanket. Like, it's nice to be sober and get to look around with fresh eyes, you know? It's really basically the eyes of almost a newborn baby being like, whoa, what is this world?
I like your brain.
You do? Oh my God, I love my brain too. I'm like, please, let's like keep it going. I want to be very, very old. I'd like to be like 150 before I die. I need to do like a one-woman Hamlet when I'm in my 100s. So when I do like Shakespeare plays that are like me doing it all myself, just being like, okay, I just like go for
Amazing.
it.
I'll be first in line to watch that.
We saying they're like, oh my God, she's swearing so much. I try not to swear that much talking to you because I was trying to keep it clean, like for the children.
I don't know if too many children listen to this, but
well, they do. They well know. Like, called them in. Come on in, kids. Like,
come on in,
like,
kiddies.
It's their favorite. It's their favorite podcast more than anything else.
It is. It's the number one kids podcast.
Yeah, it's cool enough for the children. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's cool enough for them. Really good.
Have you ever struggled with anxiety or depression or loneliness?
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
like
I think everyone has for sure. I think that what happens to me is like it would last for like a second and then it would like go away. So I never had long bouts of depression, but I think that we're all dealing with the same things. And I think that it's a little bit weird for me because my dreams came true in this way very, very young. Like I was very young. Like I sort of proved myself to myself creatively quite young. And that satiated something in me that made it hard for me to get really ever very low after that. Because like, it was my biggest dream to make a film and direct a film and to be 23, go to Sundance and stuff. Like I didn't think I was going to go to Sundance with that movie. And to go to Sundance, it was like the most surreal, most incredible thing, I think, to be able to have that relationship with my own sense of like contentment and like satisfying myself. And then that being something that I took into other realms. So whenever I was low, it was never as low as you can go, you know? And I also just, I think it was like a self-love thing where I was like, I care about myself. So I was trying to like protect myself as much as possible from that stuff. And I do think I had the benefit of not ever having like body dysmorphia or feeling like I wasn't beautiful. Like I was beautiful in this way that all the women in my family are, because we all kind of love each other unconditionally, but it doesn't have to do with like how we look. It's more about our souls and how we're doing. You know what I mean? Like how you're doing in a given moment is a key part of, I think, avoiding being a little low or having a feeling of depression. Because if you know someone who's going to chat to you about it, it kind of dissipates, I think, in this magical way. Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, it sounds like you have this, you've mentioned it a few times, this long lineage of strong, fierce, beautiful women, they set that precedent, which is amazing.
They did.
Yeah.
And they also went through, like my grandmother went through the Second World War in this way. She didn't get her period until she was much older because she was so malnourished from the war.
Wow.
She had to run away from her village because the Nazis burned her village and burnt like the houses and burnt her family members who were not her immediate family. So her entire life was destroyed by the Nazis in this way that I was like, cool, yeah, I know whatever I go through is never going to come close to that. You know what I mean? Like my depression or whatever is not the same as World War II. So I feel like I'm going to be okay. Like I could feel when I was growing up that gaze, like from her generation. And like, I was best friends with all these old Polish soldiers who had like left Poland after the war because they didn't want to be communists. Like they were very, very interested in freedom and democracy. Mm-hmm. And those were my best friends. Like I spoke to them because I didn't speak English, was not my first language. So I would chat to them all the time. They would tell me their war stories. They told me about women they loved, like ladies that they went across Europe for. Like they watched women that they knew being killed and stuff in front of them. And they would tell me this as if it was like just chit chat. Cause to them, I think they just wanted me to know, or maybe because I was 5 or whatever, it was easier for them to talk to me than maybe to each other or their like wives at the time or whatever. But I felt like, wow, you know, those experiences were just with me in a way that, that I felt like, you know, I feel like I am those guys. Like I did go through that stuff and I am my grandmother. And so me doing America right now as like a 39-year-old is easy peasy compared to anything else.
I think that's a very empathetic lens to look at the world, to think about how we're connected in that way and what we give to each other generationally, you know? Yeah.
Because they were healed just by my existence. Like the fact that they got out of the war was like a surprise to them. The fact that they had a life that wasn't taken over by the Germans and that they could live in a country like, you know, the UK and Scotland, they loved it. Like every day to them was like a heaven. So just them making tea was like, wow, this is surreal and awesome, you know? And this kid is even more awesome here. So I had that I feel like a little magical child thing that I think I still have like with me somehow.
You're a light child. You're the child of light.
Yeah, I'm a little child of light. I mean, we all are the little child of light. You know?
It's true. It's true.
That's what it is. That's why I love that like Toni Morrison thing when she's like, do you see when a kid walks into the room, does your face light up when you see that child? Because that's what the kids are looking for. The kids are looking for a face that goes like, hello, you're here, you know, like, because that's what the kid does for us. So like, it doesn't want a critical face. It wants the kids like looking for that joy. And so if you just give that to them, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing of parenting, you know, or whatever it is. If you're like, you know, raising a bunch of kids in an orphanage or whatever, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Like Miss Hannigan.
Miss Hannigan.
So tell me about your spiritual practice. You mentioned crystals as being a part of. Yeah, tell me more.
I'm just so happy to talk about it because I just never say this stuff because people who know me know how many crystals I have and that I sleep with my crystals.
You're the crystal queen of LA?
I think Azalea is Place 8 Healing is really the crystal queen of LA. But because I met her and she healed me, she did a crystal healing on me and I went to another place and came back. And so we have to talk about it. It was such a deep one. I got a download. I saw people from the past who had died who were telling me messages for other people. I talked to people about how Huntington's disease was it was going to be something that I never had to deal with. When at the time it was not like that wasn't like the consensus in like the world. But I have crystals because each crystal does different things. I have a lot of pyrite because it's really good for artists. And I have cubic pyrite since it's right here. This is just here, like it's in my kitchen.
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
Okay, so cubic pyrite is what you do to finish something. When you're an artist, you have so many ideas, but we want to put stuff in a box. It comes out of the ground like this. This is not man-made or human-made. This is the earth. This is the earth talking to us. So when we think about cubism or stuff that happened that's in boxes, that happened because of nature. We didn't think of a cube. You know what I mean? We understand math because of this. It started with nature first. And so you have to have the completion of an idea because it's okay to have a million ideas as an artist, but we have to put them all in boxes and put bows on them, which is what cubic pyrite is for. So I have it everywhere because that's why I can do basically the studio movie that is my life. Like I have 1,000 films that I'm developing. They're all, centering the right voices. And I think this helps with that. And I also think that, if you think about an album, they're always like, they used to come in like little boxes,
Sure.
Or like a poster is a box, or a book is a box, or like the frame for a movie is a box. That's all cubic pyrite, because we finish it. And being able to finish a project and move it along is basically the first stuff I was talking to Azalea about, because I was like, oh man, like I have so many ideas. And it was all about me finishing things. And that's why I made 10 feature films out of nowhere. You know what I mean? I blinked and then I was like, oh, wait, I made 10 of them. Okay, that's good. So,
wow.
Whatever. I guess it's nice to know that the cubic pyrite is working.
I keep wanting to hear you say cubic pyrite.
Cubic pyrite?
Is pyrite?
Pyrite. Yeah, it's called cubic pyrite.
Pyrite, gotcha. That's cool. I mean, I continue to be amazed by the avenues with which people go down to find perspective and healing. And I think it's easy for us to kind of dismiss other people's modes of healing, right? Because we feel like ours is the right way, but there's no right way.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's so true. It's so true, because I don't do that with anyone else. Like I never cross another human. That's another part of my spiritual practice, is I meditate to anything that's negative or feels negative. I put light around it, and anything that is any person that might be having a moment in my life personally or in the zeitgeist, I will put light around them, because they're dealing with something that's much bigger than what I have to deal with, And so I kind of honor that by putting light around it, and then also blessing it and kind of sending it on its way. So it's not really with me, but it's blessed. And that has been a major aspect of me kind of feeling like I am light and don't have like this like bag of like toxic people I'm carrying. Like that's all gone. And so the crystals are sort of part of that as well. And I think it's cool for beginner people who have never ever had crystals to have dark ones, because the black ones help you turn negative energy into positive energy. That's kind of like the first way in, I think. And they're just so protective. So nice. Yeah. Like if someone's having nightmares or something, they need tourmaline and stuff like that. Dark stuff.
Interesting. I'm not holding a crystal, but it's a very pretty rock that I always hold.
That looks like a crystal to me, mate.
Is it a crystal?
Yeah, Paul, that is a crystal.
What is it? Do you know what it is?
That looks like, we need azalea. It looks like it could be, well, it's not malachite, because malachite would be darker green. But it could be like fluorite, fluoridite, or like, it has a little bit of a crystal vibe to it. It's definitely like nice to see.
Yeah.
Green is such a good color.
It's a good color, and it's very soft in my hand. I like the feel of it.
Yeah. That's like the reason why we like them, because they feel nice, and also they are sending out waves, and so it is scientifically a thing that they do. They help us and they heal us and they chill us out and stuff, and it's nice to have them.
You know why I like it? And I think this is the beautiful thing about anything that can heal us. There's many ways in, right? And many perspectives. So the way I look at things like rocks or crystals or trees or whatever, it reminds me that I'm connected. It reminds me that I'm not alone. It reminds me that I'm a speck of dust on a pale blue dot, and I'm part of it. I'm not bigger than anything else. I'm just a part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also does actually physically do that to your aura. Like it clinks you into all the stuff. And the different colors of the different crystals will do different things to different chakras. So like green is really good for like between your heart and your stomach. That's like a good place for it, because it just connects all those things together. And it has to do with the heart. Like green and pink have to do with like the warmness of the heart and how open it is. And it's beautiful to have an open heart and feel like we can do anything because we have open hearts, but we're not vulnerable because we might have a sword in our hand, or, we have like an arm that's ready to go up and protect us if that's what has to happen. But we're open beings that are definitely not fear-based.
Yeah.
So the hearts have to be open.
They do. They do indeed. Does your mother live in LA or is she back in Scotland?
Oh, she's been here so many times to visit. My niece came every summer to visit me for every year of her life. And she's like turning 19 this year. So they visit me a lot. Like my sister, Nina, would come and visit me all the time every summer. And so I had this parade of Palka women who would always be here. And it was so nice. And now they're all in Scotland doing their sweet thing. And I love them so much. And I FaceTime them a lot. So we definitely send each other kind of messages as if we're in the same place. Like the FaceTimes I have with them are like as if I'm in the same country as them. But I guess I'm on a totally different continent.
Yeah.
Than they are. But we feel very connected. And I did get a place very recently in Scotland. Like I just bought a place to be in.
Oh, wow.
And having that, like my niece is staying in it now. So she just got into university. And so it's like this whole new era where I'm like, wow, that child that I remember in diapers is like doing lectures now. What? You know?
Yeah.
Like, what is that about? You know? She's such an incredible person, and she is a zoologist. Like she's going to be like the female David Attenborough or something. And my sister and I were like, yes, what is zoology? Like we were like, cool. What? Because we didn't know, like we're artists. All of us are like, what does that have to do with the theater? You know what I mean? Like I'm like, is that Shakespearean zoology? Like what are we talking about? Because like, is it maps? And my sister was like, it's nothing to do with maps. I don't think.
That's
maybe
cartology, right?
Yeah. I was like, what is it? But no, it's a whole world. Zoology is a whole world. I had just not really heard of it before. I had heard of like biology, geography, whatever. I didn't know you could like do zoology. But I guess David Attenborough did zoology. So that's what it is. It's amazing. She's like saving the planet with every second of every Zoom that she's doing right now is about helping the earth. So
see, it goes back to the young people being the hope, you know?
Yeah, they've got it sorted out. They've got it sorted, definitely. They know what they're doing. I feel very confident in the future because they're so cool.
Yeah, they are so cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you worked on an action film. What else is coming up for you?
Oh my God,
your films?
It's so wild because every year I have gone to Sundance Film Festival, and this January I did not. And I was like, am I having a concussion, or did I like, it was so bizarre in a way to be watching Sundance online. Like it felt like blasphemy kind of, because I was like, oh my God, it's so weird to my whole body not to be in Park City. But at the same time, it was so good for the festival to get so many viewers. Like basically it could be, Sundance could be for the world this year in a way that it wasn't before. I had gone there as well with so many movies that I directed, touch wood, but also I was the host of the Sundance Award show. And I was the most Scottish. I was swearing. I got like so many jokes because of the Scottish thing. I like charmed them with Scotland, even though some of the people in the audience were, you know, filmmakers that were having it translated to them. And I would like wait for the translation to hit, and then they would be like, okay, it's still funny in Korean or whatever. And I was like, yes. I made all these jokes about like lesbians. I did it like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I guess, technically.
Gotcha.
It was 2019 Sundance.
Nice.
Because that was before, like, before I wore the green dress at SAG Awards. I was like, this is all in order. But I was like, I have to be very positive. Like, I'm not going to do a show and host this 4-hour show unless it's very optimistic. Because a lot of the people who had done it before were kind of negative or saying stuff that was crappy about the festival. And I was like, Sundance is the best place in the whole world. And I'm going to talk about why it's funny because of that, not because we hate it, but because we love it. And I was like, you guys are all going to go home and get pregnant. You can have some like Sundance babies, like cinema babies. Like I was like, if you don't win tonight, just don't worry, because you can still like go home and like make out with each other and like have children. So it's fine.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit cruder than that. I said something like justified camera movement is the same as going down on someone because it's just the same or something. Like, I can't remember what the wording of it was, but it was like, oh man, they just love those cinema sex jokes like together. That was like the thing that got them.
Nice.
And so yeah, I think I said that we have to help the lesbians because I said there's no lesbian town. Like in the world, there's so many like gay areas of main cities that are like for gay guys, right? Like that's a thing that we all know. Like we love that.
Yeah.
But there's no like bunch of blocks in a city that are for the lesbians. Like we need to build that, you know? I was like, if you're a white guy right now and you might be a little bit right wing and you don't know what to do with yourself, like come with us and like help us build that area for lesbians. Like we're ready for you. Like come on in. And so it was funny. Like a lot of the lesbians in my life were like, someone had to say it. Someone finally said it. Like it's just like, okay,
nice.
guys. Yeah.
Sounds like a wonderful time.
That was a great night. Like I can remember just dancing forever that night. And I partied so hard that I had like a footprint on my face that I thought was from myself. Like I thought I had hit myself in my own face with my own boot in a dance move or something. But actually what it was is because I was like crowd surfing with all the filmmakers. I was like wearing a gold gown, but like crowd surfing on them. I had like the stage had been like put on my face, like in kind of the dirt of the stage was on my face. And that's what it was like a stage mark from how hard I was dancing with the filmmakers, which I was just like, okay, that is a good mark to have. I kind of wanted to like tattoo it permanently on my face or something.
Yeah,
like,
a badge of honor.
Yeah. And I do think that because Sundance was started by Robert Redford to enhance, shine a light on Native American voices in film. The Native program was like my favorite thing at Sundance when I first went there. The Native party that was run by Bird Running Water was the party to be at for years and years and years. Like that was the most exuberant fun thing that ever happened to Utah in the history of like human beings being there. And so I just loved that so much. And so I was definitely working on this year, honing all of that, making sure that everybody felt like we were still together, even though we weren't necessarily in Utah together. It felt like good work to do to kind of keep the Sundance ball in the air, and it worked. So that's really nice.
So you had a film this year at Sundance, is what you're saying? Or no?
No, I didn't have a film this last year. People were like, are you in the hospital? Like, where are you? Because they were like, if you're not in Utah, are you dead? And I was like, thanks, guys. But also, no, I'm just in my house in my pajamas watching other people's movies. Because that's like what it was this year, is it was like everything about Sundance was you could watch it in your own living room was basically the point of it.
Right.
And I think maybe going into the future, I think they should keep it that way because it's good for everyone to watch the Sundance films as they happen in January, instead of it being like, oh, it's just for people who get to be at the festival in Utah physically.
Sure.
I think it would be good to kind of do both in the future. Yeah. And that makes me feel like, well, we went through the world pandemic for something, you know?
Yeah, so it feels more accessible in a way. Because like, as someone like me, who's just a silly boy, who's not in the industry at all, like I see Sundance as being like, you know, not for me, right? Like maybe that's just like the perspective that I have, and that's not fair or whatever, but having it represented online and in the physical space seems, more accessible, you know, like maybe more people can get access.
Definitely. And John Cooper and Kim Yutani, they've been running that show, and it's a good thing. Like they really know what they're doing. Like they're centering all the right voices over there, and they've always had really interesting programming and stuff. And I just think that what you're saying resonates with me so much, because I felt like a silly girl. Like I was such a little punk rocker in New York. Like I had just, when I was 17, like if you told me that my film was going to go to Sundance in a few years, I would have been like, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was too harsh. Like I was very like, nothing's cool except these 5 movies and don't talk to me, anyone. Like I was very like,
what were the 5 movies? Tell me the 5 movies, please.
Peter Mullen's films, like only Ken Loach films and Peter Mullen movies and Kieślowski films. They're Polish films. And that was like the few of them. And I guess Leos Carax, who's a French filmmaker who I adored and was obsessed with. And I actually thought I was him. Like used to dream that I made Leo Carax's movies, but actually, like, Lovers on the Bridge was not my film. That's something he did with Juliette Binoche. Like, I was not involved, but it felt like I was involved in those movies. Like Sweet 16, I felt like I was in that movie, even though I was not. It was just a Scottish film that Martin Compston was really good in, and I and My Name is Joe, Peter Mullen was in that. And I think that those actors were such feminists and such cool people that I felt like I could do anything because they had done such good stuff. So I was thinking about them in this very hardcore way. When I was in New York, I was very tough. And I was doing this play called, it was like this character, Molly Malloy, in this play, The Front Page, that's really, really deep. This woman is basically a sex worker and she kills herself like on the stage. So I had we had to jump out a window on stage 2 shows a week on Wednesdays and Sundays.
Wow.
And like, it was a wild ride to do that show. And I remember having to justify it different times. Like sometimes she was laughing the whole time. Sometimes I made her cry the whole time. Sometimes it was like laugh crying and then she killed herself. But like each time I justified it. And then I would like jump out the window and I'd be like, okay, cool. So now what am I doing? Also, I had these little dots under my eyes that were, because that's what prostitutes in the 1920s had. They used to put dots of makeup under their eyes. So it was like code for the Johns that they were available, like that they were prostitutes and they didn't have to like ask questions. They were just like, here we go. Now I know you're a prostitute because your makeup's really cool. A lot of my friends said that when they met me, I still had those 2 dots because I was like still pretending I was in the way, even though it was like years later. Like I was like, that is so naff that I spent years with that makeup, just being like, fuck everything except this one play I did in these 5 movies. Like, I don't know. Just like had we really like high standards, and I had to kind of cool that off and bring that down because
maybe shining your light a little too bright.
Yeah, having too much of an idea, a cerebral idea about like what is good and what is not good, you know?
Yeah.
Which is a critical voice, really, in essence, that doesn't help you do stuff or doesn't really help you make things. And so,
what is lately in terms of like what has inspired you in the film world? What have you enjoyed?
I've just loved everything. Oh my God. Like I watch everything. So like I watched Judas when it came out, like the night that it came out, I was just like, it's
great.
Oh, good. I loved it so much. I loved Queen and Slim. I loved, do you know what I mean? Like everything that is coming out actively right now. Like I loved Euphoria when it came out a while ago, like, but stuff that came out during the pandemic was really, really, really helpful to me. I loved The Flight Attendant. I mean, I thought that was so well done. And I think that Kaylee Cuoco is this wild woman that has been unleashed. And we always knew she had that in her. Because I was like, when she was doing comedy, I was like, she has also this other side that is, you know, fully fleshed genius actress. I love anything that's performance driven like that, you know, like it's such a great thing to see a bunch of actors doing something like that. Like my friend Nolan Funk is in that and he's so good in it. It's just like, yes, you guys. Social Mama is so good in it as well. So when they didn't win, I was like, you guys were robbed. It's just like,
I haven't seen that. I need to catch up on that.
It's very gory. I don't know if you like Macbeth or stuff like that, where it's like so bloody, but it's very gory.
Yeah.
It's like
the gorier, the better, I say.
Fresh red blood. It's like, okay, guys. Yeah, it's really
Did intense. You see the 40-year-old version came out last year?
Yeah, I did.
That was good. I watched that recently.
Yeah, that's so nice. I've been watching a lot of like documentaries that are really specific about women, but also about like Black Lives Matter. And
did you see the Britney doc?
And I did see the Britney doc the night it came out because I think that's a feminist issue too. I remember when all that stuff was happening, and I love it. Like I just
it's devastating.
Feel her, yeah, like woman to woman. I feel her, and I understand how difficult that is for her, and that it has to change. Like that should have never happened to her.
Right.
Awful, so awful.
I mean, seeing just her as a little kid be like really preyed upon by men, devastating to watch.
Right. Like it was always weird interviewers who were dudes who were like so old, who were saying this gross stuff to her. Like the definition of her having to like deal with that. Yeah. I mean, what?
Pretty rough.
Mm-hmm. And that she went through that and didn't then like lock herself in her house and cry about it for the rest of her life. But she actually used it and took it as fuel and now is doing as much as she possibly can to be the antidote to all of that, which I think is such an amazing thing to see about her.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Yeah.
So tell me about the movies you have coming out next, either directed by or starring in.
Oh my God. Collection, I'm really, really excited about because it's this action film that's basically a love story it's kind of like, I said it was like Romeo and Juliet, if at the end, it does not give away the ending to do this because it's like a cathartic thing to talk about, but I guess it is a kind of a spoiler. It's like a Shakespearean spoiler, but like, it's like what happens is if you look at it, it's like Romeo and Juliet, if Romeo was the one who died in order so that Juliet could live and have a great life. And like Alex Pettyford's our Romeo, and basically Shakira Barrera is in it, and she's like our Juliet essentially. But her character's name is Christina, and she gets this big check at one moment in the movie, and I was really excited to make it this like purpley, beautiful female gaze version of what we had to do with that character, because her character is technically a stripper. And for me, Marianna, to like go, I never like been in a strip club or anything. And I was like, this is traumatizing. But my movies, they heal. So I cannot, with that film, I knew I could do it with Shakira specifically, because she's basically like my sister. I did Glow with her, and she's a dancer. And I knew that we could make it look very beautiful, but make it about the character's soul. And what happened was my costume designer said, oh my God, like what you have done with this is so female and so feminine that it's like, you know, when you see like male gaze stuff that is like, it's kind of like belittling us all and taking the souls away.
Like Michael Bay movies?
To look at. Sure, that stuff is hard to watch, right? Like it's traumatizing to watch a Michael Bay movie on a soulful level. You get traumatized. That's why you feel weird after, because you should feel weird, because it's fucking weird, man. Like that's not okay. Yeah. And like he needs to figure himself out. Come on. And so like my thing is, we did this thing with Shakira that looked so beautiful, and it was, you know, female DP. Mina Singh, who's my DP, she was pregnant when she was doing it. So she's 9 months pregnant shooting Shakira. Do you know what I mean? Wow. And she could pop any minute. And Shakira's like doing the dance, being like, is our DP gonna like have a baby on the set right now? And I was like, maybe, let's shoot it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, let's go, action. You know, that was the vibe. It was like ladies being there for each other. And my costume designer, who's so amazing, said to me, that she always has a hard time watching that stuff. Usually when it's about strippers, it's always disgusting. And she like never wants to look at it. Like she wants to look away. Yeah. And she was like, but with Shakira, the way that we shot it, she was like, I can't stop looking at her. It makes you want to look at her forever. The way we shot it. And that made me cry. And then I was like, yeah, so we're healing this like patriarchy in layers we all need, you know, especially men need to see it. They need to see what we're saying about that, and the way that Shakira Barrera dances in it, I'm just like, I still get chills and I cry. And I just cry thinking about it, because we made something so glorious and beautiful and in this color wheel that like, I mean, I care about the colors of each movie that I do, because the colors that I choose for films are based on what's going on for the main characters, you know? So this was really about what happens to Shakira and to Alex's character. And it's just like, oh man, it was so easy and fun to shoot. And I got up every day, like, let's go, like, let's do this. And I loved shooting in Alabama. I loved working with my music supervisor, who's Natalie Clark, who's this amazing Scottish lady who's incredibly talented in her own right as a musician. But she also was our music supervisor. She was so awesome. And so we just had so much fun. It was like endless joy. And I can't wait for more movies where we're showing women in ways that are more, it's kind of this thing of like including their heads and like having their heads in the frame. Because sometimes we cut off people's heads as if they don't have brains. You know what I mean? Like, it helps us to go, okay, they don't have a head. What's their body? And just shoot their body. But it's like,
oh, yeah.
What if you include their brain? And what if their head is part of it in this way that's like, you know, when you are part of someone's life and you love them, you love everything about them, mainly their brain. You know what I mean? It's like the body's nothing without the soul and the brain. The body's only beautiful if you love the brain and the soul too. So that's something that we were illustrating so well in Alabama, and all the stuff was gold and sparkly, and I definitely chose to make the blood in the movie like purple and sparkly, kind of like the color of my shirt, instead of like red, because red really is an intense color to use in a movie, and you have to be careful when you use it.
When does that movie come out?
It'll come out like really soon. We had like, obviously with COVID, we had such a weird, like, we couldn't do post-production on it the same way as we usually would. Like, the color that you do in the room with everyone and the sound mix in the room with everyone is so specific. It's such a part of the filmmaking process. Yeah. And talk about putting bows on stuff. Like, you really have to be there and polish it. And the fact that we couldn't be in the room together was hard. So we did it anyway, but it was like, it just took longer basically. Yeah. And the stuff that you have to do through email is a lot. You know, it's kind of like mounting this love letter to the history of cinema or something, like, in order to do it. Like, thanks. But we did it. And I loved that movie. I would do it again in a heartbeat. It's like, it's one of my favorite ones.
I'm excited to see it.
And also Happy is out. Like, oh my God, I got to do the studio TV show. Because everyone's like, are you going to, you know how people say, like, there's the little fear voices, like, you can't get a studio to sign off on you if you're a woman, if you're a female director, the studios will never do that. And it's like, all that stuff that people say never happens to me. And I'm like, you guys should have never freaked me out by that, like 25 years ago or whatever. Like, who said that? You know, it's so annoying. But I don't know, maybe that used to be true, but it wasn't. It's like, for whatever reason, maybe I'm like the first line of it not being true, like the first generation of it, like never affecting me or something. Because I got to be on the studio list of directors. Well, basically, this guy, Patrick McManus, and this other guy, Brian, who were doing Happy television show with Chris Maloney, they wanted to have me direct 2 episodes of their season 2 for Happy. So it's like, Happy TV show is very vibrant. It's actually based on a comic that's from Glasgow.
Morrison.
You know him. He's Glaswegian man. Like, he's like my soulmate. Like, he doesn't even, I've never like been in the same room with him, but like, we're the same person. He's so awesome. I love him. He's so talented. And so that connection was just something that I felt innately about Happy anyway. And then Patrick McManus had seen Bitch on Netflix, I guess. Yeah, he saw it. And he was like, Brian Taylor, let's talk to Marianna. Let's just get her to do our show. And Universal signed off on me as a director. The studio's like, yeah, fine, whatever, no problem. And maybe they watched Bitch, maybe they didn't. I don't know if they sent Bitch to the studio or what they did, but whatever they said, it worked out. And I ended up getting the job. And I was like, do you guys want me to send you like a reel of my work in the theme or the genre of Happy? So it's like a sizzle or something, so you know what I can do. And they were like, no, we just want you to say yes.
And
I was like, shut up. And then they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, well, just give you an arm or a leg or something, because this is such a big deal to get this job. And they were like, yes, you can send us your arm or your leg. Either one is fine. And I was like, you guys, like, I knew it was going to be fun working with them, because they were joking about like taking one of my limbs. Because I was like,
of course. Yeah,
so happy, because genuinely it meant that I could go to New York and shoot this huge thing with Chris Maloney. And I put him in these tights that were like sparkly stockings that are like glitter. So my episodes are episodes 5 and 6 of season 2. And you can watch it just now. It's definitely a wacky show, but I don't think anyone's ever looked better in stockings other than Chris Maloney. Yeah.
I can't wait to watch.
For sure.
I read the comic years ago.
Oh my God, it's so different. That comic is so different.
It's definitely out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of his stuff, Morrison's stuff, is in my memory has been very out there. He's an interesting thinker.
Yeah, he's definitely the anti-hero. And I said to Maloney from like this very kind of feminist perspective, I was like, it's so beautiful that that character in the comics used to have a wife, you know, and he used to be in love with her, and that he is an anti-hero now because he used to have like the real true life fantasy, like his fantasy of true love was real. And Maloney was like, yeah, I didn't really think about that like at all. And I was like, of course not, because Maloney is like Chris Maloney, who's like a guy. He's a man's man who walks around New York City and is not thinking about like his character's true love back in the day and like the past. Literally, I'm thinking about in a way that gives me all this passion as a director. And it like those things don't have to match, but like your joy for things and like the stuff that gets you excited doesn't have to be the same thing, but it's still really good working together. Because he was so there, like he was like, Palka, what do you want me to do? Like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like, I'll do anything for you. And I was like, oh my God, I love you so much. Like, it was such a great, amazing collaboration with such a titan of New York. You know what I mean? It was like, holy crap, it was so fun. And
that's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't think I had worked in New York since I did Girls, because Lena asked me to be in Girls season 5. And I was just like, yes, I will do that. Like, when do you want me to be there? Because I will be there. And I wore my own clothes in Girls TV show. I wore like this little kilt that my grandmother bought for me. And I was like homaging her. So it was really cute.
I have to go back and watch that show because I think I finished it. And so I must have seen you in there. I just don't, for some reason, I don't remember.
Yeah. A lot of people watched it in chunks because it was so popular initially, and then I think people kept coming back to it and going, oh right, like there's another season. Right. And I like that about it. It's sort of like this unraveling of what happens to them. Yeah. So wild. I just love that so much. Like the whole idea of being on set in New York feels really nice, and it's a nice memory. Yeah,
I lived in New York for a period of time.
I can tell you have a New York vibe. Like, you've definitely got that vibe.
That's interesting. It was right after college in about 2004. I was there for 2 years in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy.
Like, oh, Bed-Stuy. Oh, it's so nice there. That's so rad. Yeah. All of Brooklyn, I just have this love affair with. Like, I just really like it.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, so, I loved doing that, and also going to South Africa for Good Omens, which I was so excited because Neil Gaiman is
that show. You're a friend of Neil Gaiman's.
Right. I am, because I met him because Karen, my friend, who's also a Scottish actress, who's got red hair. Like, Karen is basically the only other tall Scottish woman, but she is a redhead and she's from Inverness. And so she's got like a different whole set of Inverness vibes that I love about her. And also she was in Doctor Who, and that's how she met Neil. And then we went to dinner with him, and then that was it. I was fast friends with him. Like, I didn't stop being friends with him, and he's been a guide and such a help. Like, he's just always said cool things. Like, he was like, do you want to know my favorite thing about your first movie? And I was like, what? And he's like, the silence. I was like, oh, okay. You know, he's just got like some cool stuff.
I am in love with Neil Gaiman.
Me too.
My wife and I went and saw him up in Long Beach. I don't know, this was 5 or 6 years ago, and just him speaking for 2 hours. It was, he's amazing.
He's a wizard. He's an actual wizard. He really is. Yes. Yeah. It was so wild. He was like, come to South Africa. Will you do this panto? He WhatsApped me. He was like, will you come to South Africa and do this panto? And I thought he actually meant doing a panto, which in the UK is like, that person's behind you. No, he isn't. Oh, yes, he is. It's like jokey theater that you do for children. It's at Christmas time. And I was like, I'll do that in South Africa. I love South Africa. Like, I've been there before. Like, I love Cape Town. Let's go. And actually, he was talking about doing Good Omens. And I was like, yeah, now I get what he's talking about. He's actually talking about a TV show that actually had the biggest budget ever, I think, of any TV show in the history of TV shows, like so far or something.
That show is phenomenal. Huge. We loved it.
Oh my God. It's wild. My character is not based on myself. I was like playing an American, and I was in Cape Town for a chunk of time, and I got to just hang out and just go to the water and be at the beach and stuff. And it was this nicest time. And I was like working out in the gym there, and I could like see Table Mountain, and I had like heels, like high heels on at the gym. And I was like, you know what? This is just my vibe. Okay. Like, I don't want to wear my trainers. I don't want to wear sneakers. Like, just let me do my heels at the gym vibe, which I don't think anyone else does, but I had to do it.
You might be the first.
Yeah. Yeah. I might be the first, but not the last.
Not the last. Not anymore. You're such an inspiration. Well, Marianna, I mean, I could talk with you forever, and we should definitely resume this on a hike or something, but let's start to wrap it up.
Okay.
Let's talk about empathy heroes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go first to give you a moment to think about your empathy hero. My empathy hero this week is this new acquaintance from Instagram. Her name is Robin Devine, and she created this Patreon and community called Black People Trip. And it's, the way she describes it is creating safe spaces for Black women in the psychedelic community, which is a community that I recently have been sort of, poking my head into out of curiosity, as someone who has diagnosed depression and things like that, exploring psychedelics for help and things like that. But anyways, I love what Robin is doing in the world. I love that she's creating spaces for Black women and spaces that are traditionally very white dominated, psychedelics being one of them. So I'll make sure to include the link to her stuff, listeners, in the show notes. But check out Black People Trip. She's on Instagram and Patreon. She's wonderful, and her name's Robin Devine, and she's my empathy hero.
That's so nice. I'm going to follow her too.
Yeah, check her out.
Okay, that's so nice. I love that. She sounds amazing. I def have an empathy hero because I'm going to cry. But the first time I wrestled in the world was with Sadell Noel. She's my empathy hero. It was so incredible. She was in Glow with me. And in order to do what we had to do in that first match, she said to me, she's such a giving actress, that she said that she was going to knight me like every time before we did it. And so each time before we wrestled, I would get into this like position of being knighted, and she would knight me with like a fake sword. And it made me so humble in this way that I was like, oh my God, like it just felt like the right thing to do, to be like servicing whatever Sadell wanted to do in her life, like that I wanted to service her dreams to the maximum of my ability, and that she was so kind and so sweet to me, and I felt like just so connected to her, and it felt like we could do anything together. And so her work as an actress on Glow is exceptional. She's in Black Panther because she's such an incredible physical perfect kind of extra special human. Do you know what I mean? Like, she is not someone who doesn't walk around with dignity. Like, she understands how beautiful she is and how sweet she is. And so she's definitely my empathy hero, and I had to shout out to her. And you guys should follow her because she's got a lot of stuff going on just now. She's going to do cool things in the future too. Amazing.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That sounds like a beautiful experience. Like it's like a ritual, right? Like we talked about at the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking when you said, or we said ritual, like when we were thinking of the word, I saw Sadell like
there you go,
doing that, making me her knight. She's like, remember when I made you? She was always like, remember when I made you my knight? And I was like, yeah. It just like was our thing. It was so dorky.
I love it.
So dorky.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me and letting me have a safe space to share, because I needed it so much.
I am honored, my friend. And where can the listeners connect with you and watch your movies and all that stuff?
Well, I'm very easy to find. Marianna Palka is me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And also I'm excited because I do a lot of like charity events, but then I also do stuff for women's voices in cinema and stuff like that. So if you Google my movies, you can find them all. I think they're all streaming on Amazon just now, like randomly for free or something. So that's nice. There's a lot of them that I've directed on there. And then other things that I've acted in are just kind of like around and easy to find too. So
wonderful.
yes.
Well, thank you for being here, and thanks for. I'm glad this happened. I'm really grateful to know you, and I'm looking forward to, running up and having steaks when we run up those hills together.
Gotta save the girl.
Gotta save the girl. Always.
Yeah. So cool.
Well, listeners, as I always say, I'm here, you're here. We're here together on this wayward, overwhelming, awe-inspiring, pale blue dot. We have each other. It's you, me, empathy.